Hey guys, in today's video I want to talk about one of my favorite franchises, and that's Metroid. Over the next 24 months, I really think there are 4 games that could possibly come out in this franchise. This is going to be more of a prediction video. I'm going to kind of get nitty, gritty, and dirty, and kind of get my thoughts of 4 new Metroid games that I really think could come out. Hey, if you're new to my channel, I do a lot of reactions to trailers, talk about movies, do a lot of Nintendo talk, so definitely think about subscribing, hitting that like button. Let's get right into this video. To start off, let's talk about the elephant in the room, the one that we're all kind of thinking about, and that's Metroid Prime 4. This game was told to us back in, 2017. Everyone was thinking, hey, this is going to be a 2019 game. It got restarted, and, we don't even know what's going on, but I think we're actually getting closer and closer and closer to some sort of reveal, some sort of trailer, some sort of release date. I honestly think that we could possibly, maybe get some sort of trailer in a September Direct. I mean, maybe, who knows? If it's not in September, I really think we're gonna get some sort of trailer, some sort of news tidbit in maybe a January of 2023 Direct, with this game coming out possibly at the end of 2023, maybe spring 2024. I wouldn't mind that, right? I mean, I just need some sort of information. We know this game's in development. We know it's been in development for, 5 years now? I know there was a lot of development hell going on, so they had to restart it, but come on, just give us any little morsel. Let us know that Metroid Prime 4 is still in development, things are going well. Give us a cinematic trailer. I don't like cinematic trailers, but give us a little taste of what we can expect in Metroid Prime 4. This next game is a 100% prediction, coming right out of my brain, but I think it's time for some sort of Metroid spin-off. And what spins more than a ball? So why don't we get a new Metroid pinball? I know the original one was super fun. People kind of crap on that game a little bit, but have you actually played it? Ask yourself that question. Have you actually ever played it? Because it's really, really fun. I mean, I love when you take your favorite characters and turn them into like a pinball. They've done it with Sonic. I think they've done it with Kirby, and I know they've done it with Samus. So let's do it again. Let's have a really fun side story game, a really good spin-off. I know if this game came out next, people would probably be going crazy because they're looking for Metroid Prime 4. But if we get a really high quality pinball game, I'm not opposed to that. I mean, there's so much you could do with that sort of thing. You could actually make a real single player story, but with pinball being the main mechanic. Pinball is super fun, and there's a reason people have been playing pinball since the 70s, and it's still going strong to this day because it's just a really fun game. The longer you play the game, the more abilities you could get, and just advance the course and make the actual pinball machine or wherever you're playing in have much more obstacles and bad guys. There could be boss battles. There's just a whole lot you could do with pinball. And like I was saying, this needs to be a side project. This needs to be a smaller little morsel. But if this game came out next, it would be a huge disaster. That's why I think this next game I'm predicting needs to happen, and then it could really set the course for other side stories, spin-offs, smaller Metroid games. And this next game has been long rumored. I think this game has started being the rumor mill 2018, and that was that we're getting Metroid Prime Trilogy HD on the Switch at the Game Awards, but that didn't happen, and then it kind of went dormant. Then the next Game Awards, there was another rumor that we're getting the Metroid Prime Trilogy HD, but that just hasn't happened. I think it was about 6 months ago, or maybe a year ago, that they said that they're actually not doing the trilogy. We're going to get one game, and it's going to be Metroid Prime 1, and I'm okay with that. I don't mind a remake of Metroid Prime 1 and just release it, but it needs to be more than just a little tweak. It needs to be some work put into it. I would love getting Metroid Prime, and I would love it to be look like modern day graphics. Doesn't need to be the most visually stunning game you ever had, but maybe update the controls, update the environments, update the graphics, and just have a great freaking game. And when this game can come out, I think it can come out pretty soon. I know a lot of people like Jeff Grubb, who's a huge insider, said this game is coming out holiday 2022, and I know we didn't get a full Nintendo Direct for E3 in June, so people are like, oh, I guess this game's getting pushed. But you never know. They could Twitter drop this trailer in August or September and have it come out 2 months later. And I know you're saying, hey, that's crazy, but if you remember with Super Mario 3D All-Stars Part 1, 3D All-Stars Part 1, it was released, the trailer was released, and the game came out a few weeks later. I don't think Nintendo's afraid of having, especially a port, a remake, something, a piece of IP that people already know. I don't think Nintendo's afraid of releasing it a few weeks after the trailer. So I'm still holding out hope that we're gonna get Metroid Prime remake, remastered, you know, in October, November-ish. I know there's a lot of games already on the docket for around that time, but people love Metroid, and if you give us a Metroid remake and it does well, that just sets them up to make the remakes for Part 2 and Part 3, and it's just money in Nintendo's pocket. And let's be real, there's a whole generation of Nintendo fans that have never played any Metroid Prime games, so you put this game out, you wet everybody's whistle, and then when Metroid Prime 4 starts getting teased, and that comes out in 2024 like I predicted, you know, that will be even bigger and the hype will be even more real. So I am predicting that we are still getting a Metroid Prime remake, remaster later this year in 2022. This last game prediction is me going a little more out on a limb, but I think Metroid needs to go back to its roots, or stay in its roots, and do another 2D game. Metroid Dread was freaking unbelievable. It really blew my expectations out of the water. I played that game from start to finish, couldn't put it down, loved all the upgrades, I love the familiarity of it, but still really advancing the franchise, love the boss battles. My thumb is still hurting from that final boss, which probably took me like 20 times to beat, but Mercury Stream knocked it out of the park. And I know they made a remake of Samus Returns on the 3DS, and I think that was in 2017, and Metroid Dread came out in 2021, so that was a 4-year development, but they already have the engine. I don't think it would be so hard for Mercury Stream to come out with another Metroid game in the Metroid Dread like engine in maybe 2 years from now, right? And you could even do a few different options here. You could have a brand new story. I know that a lot of developers said that the Metroid Dread was the end of that like story, that timeline. So you could start a brand new timeline. You could remake one of another Metroid game. And I know people say Super Metroid's still perfect, but hey, put a new splash of paint on that bad boy and sell it for $60, and people, every Metroid fan out there will buy it up and praise it. I personally would love a brand new Metroid story, and you know, you go back to the roots. You have Samus, maybe an origin story for Samus, maybe go further into the timeline when old woman Samus. There's so much you could do with Metroid, and 2D Metroid is really where the roots of this foundation are, and this game could come out, who knows, 2024? Can you imagine 2024 if we get Metroid Prime 4 and we get a new 2D Metroid? I mean, Metroid would just be back on the freaking map. Alright, so in the next 24 months, we can get Metroid Prime 4, we get a Metroid Pinball, we get Metroid Prime Remake, and we get a new 2D Metroid. That would just freaking be unbelievable, considering how long this franchise went dormant. If we could get it back in a big way with all these games, oh my god. And if Metroid Prime 4 was the last game to come out of all these, it would just be building up the hype over these next 2 years, and maybe have Metroid 4 being the best-selling Metroid of all time, maybe blowing out expectations. But what I really want to know is, what do you think? What Metroid games would you love to see come to the Switch in the next 2 years? And do you think any of these games are actually going to happen in the next 2 years? I know people have fear that Metroid Prime 4 might not come out for like 2025. Oh my god, that'd be horrible. But let me know right down in the comment sections your thoughts, and I'll get back to you. I get back to everybody. Guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Don't forget to subscribe, like, hit the bell, all that other YouTube nonsense, and I'll see you next time. I'm Turbo Jesse, and I'll see you on the flip side.